When you break a child's heart, it opens a crack into an abyss, one as large as the universe, you see. As large as that child's proximity to its birth, the origin, you see, where godliness and wickedness coexist, or should I simply say godliness? There is unlimited potential, a trillion fractal points of light, of color, of pain, you see. But the child you see, is still only a child, a mortal, immeasurably limited and ignorant and everything those little buggers normally are, you see. But just as a child, innocent, full of love, has an unlimited ability to bless all those around them, one with a broken heart has that possibility removed, and so, what does it do? It looks into the abyss, you see. And the closer it is, the younger that is, the more likely it does more than look. It becomes the abyss, you see, and as it becomes its only friend, it looks at it. The darkness, its unique nature, and it does what only a child can do. It loves it. For you should never underestimate a being capable of pure love, no. And how it can adapt, how it can nurture something so dark, even so wicked, and find expression for it.
The lights went out on the actor and the curtain was drawn, a red curtain. I was sitting on a comfortable chair like for a theater, but there were none around me. I looked to the side as I had just awoken to this. Awoken is not the right word. It was like a cut, like in a film, perhaps with a slow fade if I remember. But when I looked back at the stage, it was gone. The little door opened again. Out came the white rabbit. It took a few careful hops towards me. I was sitting on the ground now. Someone I know is an actor, was an actor. I remembered now how he refused to come with, but he tried, did he not? I think he did. The outside world still, when I thought about it, felt irrevocably lost, or like I was on a distant planet. When they turned back, the rabbit was not a rabbit, but a young woman, lithe and elven-like, almost as small as a child. She had white hair and wore a simple white dress. Her skin, too, was pale. She stared at her bare feet as if she'd never seen anything like them. Finally, she looked up, eyes of blue. No longer the clouded eyes of the rabbit if she had been the rabbit. I wasn't sure of anything.
I never know when I'll resume my form, you know? I haven't seen my toes in so long, it feels. Although, you know the heart, and this place. Don't you? I've seen you once before, haven't I? Or rather, I've sensed you. You're familiar. What is your name? Please, if you could tell me your name. I'm hungry, I'm famished for a name.
I am Netto, short for Netovicious.
Oh, fantastic! If you had a mother, as it would call a child, or if you had a pet, as you would call it the same, Netto would resound splendidly. Nasality, familiarity, but also disapproval, but playful-like, you know? And then T sound. Neti, netu, neta. That's not bad, but Netto. Oh is a wonderful sound, so vulnerable and free and joyful, although it can be pained.
I said. She did not speak like a child. I was beginning to see she was a young person, but felt more ageless. She just wasn't very tall.
Vicious. Maybe you're a welcome addition to this place. You know the wolf? For a long time there was no wolf in this place. Then a cub was here, and we tried not to imagine that it was going to grow up. But then the blue rabbit.
Blue rabbit? What do you know of the blue rabbit? Do you know where she is?
Oh, you are new. That's not how this place works. We don't exist here in a way that our own opinions matter. Haven't you realized that? If you want my advice, you just have to surrender to it. It can be painful, and it feels far more dangerous indeed with him here.
I'm sorry, the blue rabbit, she belongs to me, or in other words, I would like to find her.
Is that so? Strange color for a rabbit, I'd say. Doesn't feel natural. The blue rabbit. A she, you say? I've only seen her once. Bumped into her a few times in my damned blind rabbit form. How did I know she was blue? Funny that. Somehow she must have told me, I think. Can't recall quite. Well, anyway, you won't find her here if you're in a rush. I know that. More likely to attract the wolf, and trust me, you won't like that. Can I kiss you?
What? We've just met.
I had to ask. You're rather good looking. You must think I look like a child, but I'm probably older than you. Probably. Not that time matters anymore.
Are you vampire?
Vampire! That does sound good with your accent. Oh, I haven't heard that in a while. Maybe I was once. Here, hold my hand at least, if you would. I won't bite. We've been here much longer together than I would have expected. I'm quite happy about that.
She reached out and I took her hand. A real hand, a hand with warmth, electric, sweet. And just as she looked up at me and I gazed into her eyes, the room shook. I heard the snarl. The white rabbit was at my feet. It skittered over to the little door, which would not open. Anxiously, it scratched at it. Quickly, although my legs felt like they were lead, I made my way. I wrested the little door open. The rabbit gave me a look and fled inside. And then, something floored me. I was on my back. And above me, the stars. I was back here again. Cowboy land. And when I tried to breathe, I felt a pain in my neck. I could not get up. My back hurt. My mouth was wet. I tried swallowing, but that made me choke. That noise alerted something towards me. The wolf. I could not remember if this was the same wolf, but the wolf was large and it looked down on me, smelled me, then licked my face, its breath of the wild. It then moved away, and I could barely move to see what was happening. It bit into my legs, but I could barely feel it. Not like pain, more like a rearranging of my particles. Finally it released. My leg was wet. I did not know if he or she had hurt me or if it had just slobbered on me. Then it howled. It was very loud in my ear. When I woke, I was in bed. I reached for my neck, which was in a good amount of pain. It was wrapped with gauze. Reflexively, I reached for my teeth. I could feel I had fangs. But was this a recreation of the urge? I was perfectly myself. My whole body was sore. Knock at the door.
Hello there. Breakfast in bed. Not something Hello. My, you have quite the gaze already. I'll set this here on the table.
I could remember the night before, but everything felt like it was a story being told. I could start to understand how I was here and not here, how if I let the story play, I would sooner move on. As to you, how could I not see before last night before you?
How do you mean? How could I not see what? Well, anyway, dim lighting, probably. I like to keep it that way.
But I'm a vampire, you're a vampire. I was and still am.
That's a curious thing to say. Can't say, well, I haven't been in this position often. Not in 100 or so years. How were you a vampire, young man? And let's keep our voices down, if you would. I have another guest. Although, don't worry. This one will just be passing through.
Doesn't matter. Thank you for the breakfast.
Any pain?
He looked at me questioningly. No matter.
Try the croissant. I'm the only one this far afield that makes them. Perhaps it'll take you back to the old country. Yeah, they're a day old, but I keep them in the icebox, so they should still be crisp.
The barman gave me a little playful punch to the jaw like an older brother would. Fantastic. Wish fulfillment, is that what this was? A desire to have a mentor, and so here he was. Still, I bit into the croissant, and so I was transported. It was Paris in the springtime. I was wearing my coat, my pea coat, and underneath it a thin chemise. My pants were fitted like I remember Agatha buying for me back when... But this was not then, this was some kind of modern age. What was the shape of this place? Being both here and not here, observing, finding, and losing oneself. It was like being locked in a dream, and did that make me advantageous with my supposed dream powers, the ones who benefited me sometimes and got me in trouble other times? Harry, I said the name out loud, afraid that I would lose myself. The breeze along the Seine was delightful. I could remember the white rabbit. Was her touch worth the pain from the wolf? I missed the 3. The three what? What? Trinity. I stepped down some steps and took off my shoes, my socks, and dipped my feet in the water. Inadvisable, perhaps, but was there pollution too in this place? Or was I here, sometime, somewhere in the actual world, simply with no control about how I could stay? Had Agatha, had the Ancient One simply been bipping and bopping here and there through time and place? To what? Learn lessons. What was the sense of it all? A universal unconscious, perhaps. I looked at the color of water. I could still do that. The sky pitched into darkness, very fast. The stars came out, shooting stars by the thousand. Wet, the water had risen, kept rising, but it was warm. Pitch darkness. But I could tell by the silence where I was again. Thankful it was not with the barman. How now? Grateful to have been bitten by Baba, are we? Perhaps I was beginning to love my strange little rejected soul. Something in the little white rabbit's eyes made me feel something. A tenderness. I hoped I would see her again.
Well, that's a little too good luck. Surely hasn't happened to me much. To see you a second time, that is. We've got to try not to think too much of it. This place doesn't like emotions too defined. Have you noticed that yet?
Hello. Nice to see you again. Tell me, what is your name?
Aha. You know, the second you told me yours, I knew for certain you were a new arrival. No, I don't play that game anymore. I am wholly myself, and I am no one as well, you know? Names will only confuse things. I've had too many, and so should I choose one or another, it'll go wonky, you see, and I'm rather fond of looking at you. I don't want that to go away.
You make me blush, little rabbit. Sorry.
That's fine. I like nicknames. Can I call you Envy? Like Envy, but, you know.
We wandered about the space, like youth enraptured by our own tender existence.
You still look at me strange. How old do you think I am? Or, you know, how old do I appear?
Oh, I do not know. Can't be polite to guess.
Oh, come on now. But I'm surely old enough to be your 3 times or more great-grandmother. You know, when I was born, women my age didn't grow a lot taller than you see me. Not that I was tall, but it wasn't so peculiar. Would have had 3 children by my perceived age, which I didn't, of course. Have you ever noticed our kind don't have children before, you know?
Yes, I have noticed that. Where are you from?
No. Names, locations, only truths. Those things, they confuse this reality. You'll learn.
As you wish.
Since you won't guess, I'd say you're not anything past 22. But maybe I'm saying that because you're tall. Is it younger? Is that when you were bit? I knew there was something familiar. Not that I could change here, but I always clung to my origins age. Perhaps you did the same. Did you, Envy? Oh, no judgment there. Most vampires don't like to stay that age. Probably too vulnerable.
I've been asking myself that of late. I think I was asking myself that of late, yes. Something like you say. Why did the wolf come when we held hands?
Shh! You said its name once and that's enough! I'm not sure to answer your question. If you think you can think your way through this, Envy, you're in for a lot of ups and downs. Was he or she quite violent, the one?
You know, it was always an unspoken rule that vampires didn't discuss their origins with each other. At least...
I know that. If you're not ready, I won't pry. Can you imagine a vampire preying on this?
She spun elfishly.
This little thing? Horrible, isn't it? It's only the worst, darkest sort who prey on such young people. And yet, for a brief moment, I would have died for him. But then he was decapitated or so I heard. Sorry. You're cute when you wince. But then, I won't be graphic, but for a century or so I got a little... What's the word? Addicted, as they say in modern parlance, to beckoning my victims. I'd let them pin me down before... Did yours pin you down too?
A flash. I could sense Baba.
Oh, I see. They're here, aren't they? Or they have been, recently. Don't worry. Shh. Come here.
I was almost hyperventilating. The white rabbit took my hand, took my face in her other one.
Baby boy.
I closed my eyes.
Ah!
And I was still in bed, only it was black. The barman lit a lamp next to my bed.
You okay? I heard you shout.
Yes. Dreaming, I suppose. I'm sorry. What time is it?
Oh, just closed up. Well past sundown. Hungry? Here, drink at least.
I drank. It was the same restorative tonic as before. I sat up in bed. What is your name?
My name? In these parts, I'm Clive. You? Sorry, I was getting to that. Strange that we didn't.
Let's say Ned in these parts.
Now, Ned. Is that short for Edward? Never mind. Well, you need to rest.
He took a little bell out of his pocket.
Ring if you'd like. I haven't been in this position before, not in a very long time. I was close with my... Anyway, but I wanted to say, Ned, you'll figure it out. All right, anyway, good night, Ned.
He closed the door. I stared at the bell. I took it in my hand, held its little ringing pearl so as not to make a sound. Another origin. Wish fulfillment. Dreamed within dreams. The sheets were surprisingly soft. The air in here surprisingly clean. I felt calm, surprisingly. I laid my head down on my pillow. I was back in the white room. I closed my eyes, counted slowly down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gave myself permission to start all over again.